Hey, welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into a really powerful idea that kind of redefines what it even means to be smart. See, it's not about how fast you can solve a problem. It's about having the power to change the problem itself.
So, chew on this for a second. We've got AI that can master these incredibly complex games, right? Like with superhuman skill. And yet, these very same brilliant systems are totally stumped by real novelty. They can win the game, no problem, but they could never invent a new one. This little paradox, it points directly to the hidden limits of intelligence as we usually think about it.
So, what is this invisible box that we're all thinking inside of? Well, to see a new kind of intelligence, we first have to recognize the old one. And it's an idea that has for decades completely dominated our thinking about thinking. Okay, this lays out the core difference. Most of what we call intelligence is computational. It's all about mastering a known game, getting really, really good inside a fixed set of rules. But then there's this other kind, conceptual intelligence. This isn't about winning the game. It's about having the power to change the rules, to redraw the board, and, invent a whole new game from scratch. And here's the kicker. Most of our systems, and frankly, a lot of our own thinking, are stuck playing that first game.
And this, right here, is the box we were talking about. The source material calls it the computational metaphor, this idea that a mind is just like a computer, running code that's already been written. Now, this has been super useful for building AI, but its fatal flaw is baked right in. A program can't question its own programming. It can get better, faster, more efficient, but it can never have a true game-changing paradigm shift. So if that's the box, how do we get out?
This is where it all gets really interesting. We need to stop thinking about intelligence as just processing information and start seeing it as an act of creation, the act of redrawing our own mental maps.
And here it is, conceptual intelligence, or CI for short. Let's break that down. It's not about how smart you are within a certain system. It's about how smart you are about the system itself. It's the ability to see the lines we draw around ideas, the concepts we use to define our world, and then having the power to erase them and draw new ones. And look, this is not just some abstract theory. This is literally the engine of human progress. The concept of zero wasn't just found somewhere. It was a conceptual invention. It created a whole new category for nothing that completely revolutionized math. Same thing with Copernicus. He didn't just find new data. He redrew the entire map of the cosmos with the sun at the center. In quantum mechanics, that was the ultimate boundary break. When reality itself stopped following the old rules, we had to invent a completely new rulebook just to understand it. That's CI. So how does this actually work? I mean, how did these thinkers really change the world? It wasn't just a single eureka moment. No, it turns out there's a process, a kind of dynamic loop of insight. The source calls this the CI loop, and it's a pretty elegant cycle of innovation. So first, you define a boundary, let's say the concept of a planet. Then you perceive the world through that lens. You go around classifying things. But eventually, you start to notice stuff that doesn't quite fit. Anomalies, things that are kind of weird. Pluto, for example. Those are the crucial moments. They force you to differentiate and ultimately to reframe the original idea, which leads to a new, better definition. And then the loop just starts all over again. Okay, so this isn't just a cool history lesson about geniuses. This way of thinking has massive implications for our world right now, for the future of AI, for how we teach our kids, and maybe most importantly, for you. For AI, this is basically a roadmap to escape the brittle, one-trick pony systems we have now. I mean, imagine an AI with CI. It wouldn't just be good at its job. It could adapt when the entire job changes completely. It could handle real, genuine novelty. This is the difference between an AI that just learns and one that can actually innovate. And it's a potential stepping stone toward true artificial general intelligence. And for education, wow, the implications are just revolutionary. It suggests we need to shift from just teaching kids what to know and move towards teaching them how to think. Imagine a classroom where students learn conceptual archaeology, literally digging into why we believe what we believe, figuring out how these big ideas are built in the first place. It's about valuing the student who asks that disruptive question way more than the one who just memorizes the answer. So, at the end of the day, the crucial point is this. When we embrace conceptual intelligence, the whole goal of being smart changes. It's not just about solving problems faster. According to the source, it becomes a measure of our epistemological agency. Now, that's a fancy phrase, I know, but it means something really, really powerful. It means having the power to consciously choose and reshape the mental models you use to make sense of your own life and the world around you. You get to be in charge. And this idea of agency, it points us toward the ultimate goal here. This isn't just a concept. It's a new kind of literacy, a skill that might be one of the most important ones for the 21st century. And that skill is called boundary fluency. It's the ability to see the invisible frameworks that shape your thinking, to step back and ask if they're still working, and to have the skill to change them when they're not. It completely transforms intelligence from something you have, like a score on a test, into something you do. It becomes this active, creative power to reconstruct your own reality. And that leaves us with one final, pretty powerful thought. The concepts we use, the categories we accept, all the boundaries that define our world, they aren't fixed parts of reality. They're just tools, and tools can always be redesigned. So the only real question is, what new worlds will you choose to create?